as there's been a bit of AI alarmism in the media recently from the Tech Council of all bodies. The Tech Council has warned Australia that we are unprepared for the future, and they've warned us that there are more risks than rewards at the moment in the AI space. Now, here's a question, Ash. Is the biggest risk to the organizations that we are a part of, and indeed the organizations in Australia, actually AI? Or is it how we and how our leaders are reacting to it? You're talking about.
That's a good point. I don't know where.
Welcome to the Accountdads, everyone. Welcome to our latest and greatest episode. This is the podcast for the finance and accounting leaders, strategizers, thinkers, and doers. As there's been a bit of AI alarmism in the media recently from the Tech Council of all bodies. The Tech Council has warned Australia that we are unprepared for the future. And they've warned us that there are more risks than rewards at the moment in the AI space. Now, here's a question, Ash. Is the biggest risk to the organizations that we are a part of, and indeed the organizations in Australia, actually AI? Or is it how we and how our leaders are reacting to it?
I personally think it's the way the leadership react to it. It sets the tone for the company. It sets the tone for how people adopt it. It sets a lot of different things directly and indirectly. And I think that's where companies are pivoting now in this space. And they're playing in a uncharted territory, but sometimes the answer is, let's just ban it, right?
Yeah.
Let's just ban it. So we don't want a bar of this.
And why is banning the right solution in their eyes? Is it just de-risking?
Yeah, straight away, right? You just block. You just say you ban something. You just block it. You don't need to see it again, right? You just block the app completely. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
I never need to worry about any plagiarism or any fake news or someone trying to jip their job or trying to automate some tasks.
Yeah. And look, I get it contractually. Sometimes companies have to ban it because, so as an example, in my wife's work in the legal space, they sign contracts with their customers to say that none of their work will be done by utilizing AI. And that's just one of their rules that their customers have, which is fine. And so as a point to de-risk it and not even take the chance that someone might use AI, because they've committed now to these customers, they've banned that on their platforms. But where I don't get it is where leaders ban it because of the risks that they read about in the media or they think are risks without going and exploring it themselves. I'll give you a small example, and I think I've shared this before, but this was about a year and a half ago. Actually, it was exactly a year ago. I was in India, and so there's all these audit calls that I couldn't make. And so I added this AI tool to my calendar called Otter, and I wanted to attend all these meetings, which I wasn't attending because I wanted to come back, get a summary of it, just in case I had any action items, but also to get a sense of how my team members were answering questions and if there were things that I needed to help them with. Turns out during this period, we had a really important meeting that the executives wanted me to jump in on. And so they added me to that meeting. And this was when I was away. I had no option to turn it off. And so during this meeting, my AI agent jumped in and caused a bit of alarm, obviously, because no one has seen anything like this in an organization where the average age across the leadership team was about 50 plus. But it was funny because the first 3 minutes of the meeting, my AI agent jumps in and they obviously kicked that agent out after that. But I could see the transcript where essentially they were guessing if they had been compromised because this AI tool had come in. And literally when I came back, the head of IT said, mate, you can't use these tools anymore. CEO doesn't want it. It's a risk to organization. And I was telling them why. Like, have they actually looked into a tool like this? It'll actually help us get things done more quickly. But again, they didn't want a bar of it. But we come back to the point of some of these executives or even heads of IT that ban tools or ban AI because they don't understand what the risks actually are. And sometimes if there are risks they can outline, then yeah, great. At least you can explain that to the business. But more often than not, they don't know then. They just want to feel safe, don't they?
Yeah, exactly right. But then that creates the next, like, the challenge of, like, do you govern the risk, or do you just leave it ungoverned and just let people do what they want? Like, how do you let that
Mm.
roam through, right? Because now your executives come back and said, we've seen this unusual technology. This partially we're being compromised, but we don't know where the data's going. Data
Yeah.
sovereignty, that's a big thing as well. We don't know which cloud it's going into. We don't know which country it's going into. We don't know about sensitive data, how it's being treated. Just delete it. Just ban it.
Mm.
We don't want to have anything to do with it. So
Yeah.
what happens in that case?
Yeah. And I think that's sometimes it gets chucked in the too hard basket instead of exploring it. They think, well, if we can't explore it, let's just ban it. And when it becomes something that's noisy, or when everyone else is using it and our boards ask us to use it, then maybe that's time we can entertain this again.
But it's interesting. Do we bridge the gap by saying, hey, like, let's all take those courses, or what do we need to do to figure that part out, right? Like, do we come back and say, hey, there is a risk, there is a challenge. Let's and let's go get the right education around that to figure out going, do we want to be behind the eight ball, or
Mm.
do we just want to come back and say no? Do we want to apply it for something like just recording meeting notes, whether it be locally or to a cloud, and hey, this is going to create this much efficiency? Or is
Yeah.
it just, no, we're good to handwrite our notes and everything's operating fine the way it is, so we don't see any benefit, right? So
Yeah. Well, it raises the age-old question, doesn't it, Ash? And if I give you an analogy, which I do love, if you're playing cricket and you're batting on a spicy pitch, the safe thing to do is just always block the ball, play it safe, which
mm,
is the equivalent of banning AI. But at some point, you've got to play some shots and get some runs and take your team forward, which is
mm.
what the potential AI has to do for your business and for your productivity in your business. But sometimes, do we think that playing it safe as an organization actually becomes riskier than adopting some of these AI tools?
Oh, 100%. 100% it does. Because what you've got, everyone's got a personal phone, everyone's got a laptop or an iPad or something, and you can download these apps. And what happens is you end up just asking your phone, putting all those contexts in and just like, hey, what should I do here? So whilst it's not allowed on a work machine, you've got a personal machine, which you're pretty much prompting the same thing, or you can upload pictures to and text and various things. And now you've created this sort of unprecedented way of how you control things, right? So
Mm,
it gets to a really murky area because now you can't control what's happening on a personal front, right? So
yeah. And I think it's harder as well because they're starting to implement a lot of legal and regulation around AI usage just in general that's being government led and fed down. I'll give you a small example. There's a piece of legislation that's about to come out. I'm pretty sure it's passed. It has been passed initially, but the legislation states that if an organization is using AI for things like uh, HR or performance conversations or just guiding structure around those conversations. And it leads to someone putting in a unfair dismissal claim or a psychosocial claim, then that business could be regulated and fined because they have used AI to get to this situation. And so businesses now have to protect themselves to say, hey, this performance conversation that we had with this employee was written by me, not by AI. And it's really
mm,
hard because you can see the slippery slope that leads down. And all of a sudden, you have to open up your data, open up your AI tools to an organization that could come in and review it for the purpose of, one claim that's made, which I think is a dangerous thing. And it keeps Aussie businesses away from tools like this because they're like, well, if it's just too hard, I'm going to be regulated anyway. I'd rather just not use it.
yeah, exactly right. And that's going to create another drama, right? Because when we get into the world of innovation and trying to improve and opportunities and where the next steps are, like, we could be missing fundamental steps now just because
Mm,
these over complexities. So, and let's face it, like, all of your systems now have a form of AI in it, whether you like
yeah.
it or not. Even your search engines that you have got forms of AI built into it. Let's say your Microsoft Office suite and whatever tools, it's all got something built into it now. And each time you buy a new software, the first thing it goes is, oh, hey, we've got a AI version of our own software inside here. Now you can ask it questions, you can prompt it, you can do everything else. So you are playing, once again, in very, very murky waters. And it's going to be interesting to see how a lot of companies take that plunge to see whether or not they want to take, take it and control it, or do you want to come back and say no altogether and do not use it ever?
Well, maybe let's finish on this point. Ash, leave everyone with a bit of optimism. If people are already using AI and AI tools quietly in their organizations, how would you as a leader deal with that? Like, how do you manage that firstly? If you're running a business, how do you kind of educate people around the risk, but also give them a bit of creativity to go and explore these new tools, which ultimately could benefit your business?
Yeah, interesting question and great question as well. I think a lot of companies do go through this right now. It's a combination of, let's say, education, understanding data and its validity. Like, hey, you can upload certain things and questions and prompts. You can go ahead and Google what those things mean, but just be mindful of your PII data as an example, where the data is being saved. So don't go stick everyone's, license IDs and all that sort of stuff inside there. But hey, if you just want to come back and say, hey, give me a better formula as an example, why not use that? It's a great resource to improve things. It's a great resource to figure out, hey, why is something not working? It's a great sounding board as well, right? So I'd almost come in front of it and be like, hey, this is how you should be using it. And these are risks if you use it poorly, right? And if you use it poorly, there's a massive, financial impact and brand damage and everything else. But if you use it properly, actually your own career can actually strengthen from this, and your own brand and reputation, everything else can strengthen from this. Once again, don't take everything as gospel, but hey, if it gives you a reference, go and validate it yourself from an excellent website and try to figure out how do you use it to the best of your ability, right? There's no point in getting, once again, a hammer and trying to cut your whole lawn, right? Get the right tool for the right job, right? But then also, once you've got that right tool, you find the right lawnmower for that, for that chunk of lawn, perfect, right? You can run it, you can maintain everything, and it's going to work way quicker, right? But if I give you a screwdriver and said, now go cut the grass, it's not going to help you any further, is it?
That's right. And I like that some businesses have actually kind of gone the midway. So they've seen the risks of it, but they've also seen that tools like these are too hard not to pass for the productivity of our teams. And so they've, as an example, with a ChatGPT, they'll get a business plan, get all their teams on the business plan, which is in a controlled environment. Data is private. You control the ecosystem. You control your members. You have full oversight of what's actually being searched. And at the same time, you're giving that access to your team members who can utilize it and maximize how they use it for their work, which I think is a great way to, for a small business expense of a monthly subscription, is a great way to utilize the latest tools. So hopefully that leaves you with a bit of optimism. There's obviously a bit of alarmism at the moment, particularly in the Australian tech climate. And apart from the alarmism of the risks of AI, there's also the alarmism of AI taking everyone's jobs. We just want to tell you that there are still valuable skill sets within finance people and finance professionals that are valuable to businesses. And so stay optimistic, my finance brothers and sisters. And if you are a finance pro who wants to grow, learn, and lead better, would love for you to like and subscribe to our channel. Join the Accountdads community. You can also join if you're an account mum, because we want to help empower you guys as leaders that can shape the future of finance. Thanks for listening in, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next episode.